and welcome from PJFM in Conversation. My name is Gary Kramer, and I'm a film critic for Salon.com and the Philadelphia Gay News. It's a pleasure to speak with director Ofer Freiman about his documentary, Leaving Paradise, playing this season at the Philadelphia Jewish Film Festival. Ofer, thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to start by asking you perhaps an obvious question, but how did you find Cleo and his family, and what made you decide to make a film about them? Did you know their plans about moving to Israel when you started filming?
Actually, there are a lot of methods to get a documentary story, but this is so unique and one-time story that I couldn't think by myself about such a family and a story. So actually, it was by a coincidence. I met here in Israel. It was 2014, 7 years ago, more than 7 years ago, on July, during the World Cup World Cup soccer football champion. And we invited, me and my wife, we invited our friend to watch with us a game, Mexico against Brazil. And this friend asked us if she can come with another friend. And we say, of course, yeah, why not? And another friend was Fanny, one of the character in the movie, that married Gallego, the couple who left the farm. So when I met her, she told me that she's already 8 years in Israel, that she's did Aliyah also from Argentina. And it seems that she has a happy life here in Israel, but she also said that she's leaving to Brazil to marry as her fiance, her Brazilian fiance. And then she told me about this family with 15 brother and sister and about the parents. And yes, as you asked me about their decision to make the Aliyah to Israel. Actually, before she met them, they already made this decision, and Fanny got into it. And as she said in the movie, she wouldn't marry Israel, Gallego, if they hadn't decided to do this. So this is the point where I made a story. And actually, in the movie, the order is different. But actually, I started to shoot here in Israel. Started to shoot Fanny before she left. And then, after a month and a half, I found myself in Brazil starting to make this documentary.
Well, that was my question. What was the time frame, given the way the story unfolds over several years? You started shooting in 2014.
Yeah.
How did it work? Yeah, okay. And then you went to Brazil when?
The first time was September 2014. I met Fanny on July, and on September I was already there because I understood that the wedding. The first time that I came, it was around the marriage, the wedding of Fanny and Gallego. So I understood that this is a very important scene for the movie, and it was, as you saw in the movie, this wedding. So actually, this was the first time, September 2014, and I visit Brazil for 5 times total. 3 of them were also to Argentina after Fanny and Gallego left the villa.
Can you talk about your approach to the film? Because as viewers were pulled into their story, even though we get bits of information over the course of the film, we're piecing together the narrative of who has what attitude about living in the villa, who has what attitude about religion, who has what attitude about moving on. I thought it was a very effective approach. Can you talk about that?
Before I flew the first time to Brazil, Fanny didn't tell me one important information, that this villa it was the dream of Cleo, the father, for years. Actually, before he even got married with Anita. So I'm telling you that because every time that I came to Brazil, I discover more detail about the story. So also the script, documentary script in this case, change all the time because when I started to do this journey, when I heard about the family, I tell you the truth, the question that I ask myself is why? Why they are willing to live this paradise? Not only the nature, this commune life, yeah, like a kibbutz. And because because I think almost every Israel that will hear about such a stories ask why they're doing that, because they're gonna live this so unique life, because it's probably gonna be impossible to build a new villa here in Israel. It's not Brazil. So this is the first point that I started, and then it changed. Then I realized that when I met Cleo, I understood that he's has a very strong, he's very strong character and father. He is the leader, and also I understood that the conflict is much more deep because he's not only going to Israel like all the other. This is his dream that he just 5 years before actually he make it come true. So and then after the rabbi came and I felt that something is gonna happen. I didn't know that gonna leave the farm, the villa, Fanny and Gallego, but I felt that this process is running very fast, and that Cleo is he said that he's doing it for his children, but I felt that when they will finish the process, it's gonna maybe explode somehow because will be a lot of pressure. Like you discovering the story about Fanny and Gallego when they left the villa. I also got a phone call, and one day I heard about that, and so also the script developed with the story all the time, and my decision also.
What do you think the benefits and drawbacks of their lifestyle were? You know, I mean, they live in this villa which resembles a kibbutz or a commune, and is this a fantasy? Is it an experiment? Are they living the dream? Is it appealing? What is the draw of this life that they have? Because I couldn't do it.
Actually, I live in kibbutz in Israel, but it's not a kibbutz like it used to be in the past. Yeah, it's everyone live for his own. Originally, I'm not from the kibbutz, by the way. So, but there is I felt in love with this family and with this in the beginning with this kind of life, because you hugged by everybody. It's so except of course the nature, the waterfalls around, to live in the nature. For me, it was like a mirror for my life. Where is my life? Because in that time, and it's part of my personality, I think, I was looking for something else. I live here in beautiful area also in Israel, in Upper Galilee, and now I also have children. But that time I was fresh married, and yeah, my life were good, not. But I look for, I felt that something is waiting for me out there. And when I met this family, it's make me, be a little bit confused about my life. I was in a process, with the story, with the movie, because as you saw, things change in the end of the story, and it's make me also change with the story, and now I can tell you that I feel much more calm with my life, yeah, with my choices.
Well, and I think that's the sort of beauty of the story, is that you feel the ease that these characters have living this lifestyle that is appealing for them, and then some of them break away. And to me, there's a lot written about the Orthodox Jewish community in America and people exiting that tight-knit community. And this story is almost the inverse of that. It's leaving the family and entering Judaism, making Aliyah, having kids, raising them Jewish. Can you talk about that theme? Because they're breaking away from the family, but they're embracing Judaism.
I am also thought about ultra-Orthodox family who lives here in Israel and also in America, because when somebody is living the Orthodox life, in many cases the family is cutting the connection with him.
Yes.
And outside, when you look of them from outside, they look like hippies, like farm people, but and they are, but they are quite religious, because and this is the reason why when Gallego left the family, it was so shocked for the family, because he broke something. He broke some agreement. He broke something from the
contract.
From the contract. So yeah, your question is good, because I thought about it, and actually I also talked with Cleo about it. I told him that it's similar to somebody who living his Orthodox life. In this case, the story was that the thing that began this story was the entering, as you say, to the Judaism. But maybe it would happen anyway,
What's interesting to me is the role of Judaism in their lives, because the family is resisting conventional society. They're living on a farm. They're making their own, food and living freely, but they find comfort in the rituals and the teachings of the Torah. And I'm sort of curious about the importance of religion in their lives, because they're rejecting society, but they're embracing the ritual of Judaism.
I don't think they are rejecting society. They came from the city. They lived there before they left to the villa. They lived in a city, a big city, and they have a friend from there, and they also have friends around from other farm. But it's more against the system, not the society, the system. The Judaism, for them, they are living a different Judaism. The father discovered the Judaism when he was, as he said in the movie, 19 years old, and his children born to this. They read the Torah on Saturday without knowing actually what they are doing. And in this area in Brazil, there are not any Jews, so they didn't have somebody to get information from this. They do it really in an intuitive way. And when the internet started, they started to learn more things about Judaism. For example, I know that specifically Gallego learned from the internet about the Jewish people making challah in Saturday Eve. Yeah, challah, the bread. So and then they started to do it, and other traditions. And then also they met some Israeli friend that I know, and I'm also is now also my friend that live in Brazil. So they learned also from him things about Israel and about Judaism. And when they met the rabbi, and funny, it wasn't strange for them. Everything they even adapt some things, but the father actually telling, if I need to tell the truth, is the main reason for stopping the process. It was difficult not only for him, but especially for him. And if you ask them, they say we didn't feel belong to the praise and all the it's the same word, the system that inside the religion, the system of rabbis, the system of rules,
and that was my point, because I think they reject the conventions of so not society but the system, and then they create their own system within an existing system. And I think that's a really interesting approach to how their story is told. Because Leaving Paradise raises questions about identity and how we learn about ourselves through experiencing other cultures, other languages, other customs. And I like how you contrast the stories of those who saw the world with the others who never left the farm. And your film doesn't judge either side. You're not saying, this is a better way of life, or this is a better way of life. You show one daughter being critical of her father, and then there's some interesting cross-cutting between the father who stayed and the son who left. But it's very hard to take sides. You're very non-judgmental in your approach to the story. You appreciate both characters, Galega and his father. Can you talk about that?
This was also my goal, naturally, actually, because what is the truth? Who is right? Who am I that will decide, what is good for Israel, Galego, and Fanny, and what is for the family or for the other family member? But so, and I wanted that the viewer of the movie will decide and will connect to whatever he feel in the story. It's very easy in editing, to make you see only why I could do it very easily. But I really wanted to keep the question live, and it was very important to me. I all the time tell them, look, I don't do something yellow, to what they telling about you and what you telling about them. I'm interested in the universal things about feeling, about family, about choices, about freedom. Freedom, I think this is the main word of the movie. And when I started the movie, it wasn't the subject of freedom. It was, as I told you, more about Israel. I thought in the beginning that at least 50% of the movie, and even more, will shoot here in Israel. This will be a Aliyah story. But I'm happy that the story turned to be more philosophic, more universal. And also I participated, the movie participated in an international festival, not only a Jewish festival, and I like it, that even people that are not Jewish, and maybe they are not, have nothing Israel, they also, the movie make them think about whatever. So that's why I left it like that.
So how many hours of footage did you shoot, and what decisions did you make in the edit about what to include? Because I think most movies find themselves in the edit. And I think your editing is really smooth because of the way you cross-cut the stories, because of the way you tell the story almost chronologically, even though it was filmed out of sequence.
I edited by myself a lot of things, but I have an editor. I had editor for this movie, Kobe Netanel, and actually he was involved in this movie from the beginning. Even before I flew for the first time, I talked with him and asked him what he think about if to go now or later to Brazil. So he was the one who was with me from the beginning. And till the end of the editing process, I didn't know what will be the end of the story, because there are more, of course, brother and sister. There are 15, and also other family members. And I actually have material. I shoot scenes with couple of them, and they are very interesting. And unfortunately, I had to give up because it's not a serial; it's a movie. Yeah. Actually, at some point, I realized that Ofer, it's a movie. It's not a
miniseries.
Because I could make it, because it's.
I love documentaries where they show a single slice of life, that you get one moment in time, not a whole history of their lives. We don't need from soup to nuts. We just want the slice of life of the dramatic moment. You're giving us just this one episode in this micro story and a macro story, as opposed to telling us the whole macro story.
When you are in the process, you don't know. Yeah, I had really wonderful scenes with another brother, for example, also about the Aliyah, and more dramas happened. And I didn't know if it will be inside or outside the story till the last moment. almost the last moment, you don't know. So I about your question, how many hours I shoot, I tell you the truth, I don't really know, because I don't know. I think and I could, if I want, I can count, and but it was about, I don't know. Let's say 250,
Oh,
maybe less.
oh.
I
It's a
don't
lot,
know.
though. It's a lot to go through and decide.
But it doesn't matter. Once I realized what is this movie about exactly, it was more easy to get a decision. Not only the editing, also in the shooting in the villa. I knew who are the main character, and I have very deep connection to sister and brother that they are not character in the movie. And I made a separation between the movie and like you say, the movie, which is a piece of the life, and to the reality, which is so big. So yeah, a lot of decision in every documentary, but especially in this story of 6 years of making this movie. So
Well, my last question is, do you have a where are they now update? I mean, I'm curious to know more about how things worked out for the various, subjects. Can you share any news?
So, okay, first of all, I want to say a good news, because in the movie, Fanny and Israel, Fanny and Gallego, the viewer understood that they came to Israel only for a visit. It wasn't the Aliyah, because I don't know if you realize, but Fanny was already pregnant there,
Yes.
and also the viewer get the information that the ministry of inner, how do you say, the government, yeah, they didn't recognize his conversion, and he didn't get the permission to do the aliyah. But after that, after a year or more, they applied for another request. He didn't do the conversion from the beginning, just they applied for another request, something like that. That then in Argentina, and then he get the and they came to Israel to he did aliyah with Fanny. David, he's not a baby anymore. He's almost 4 years old, 3.5, and they had another baby that was born there in Argentina, and they came to Israel, made the aliyah just in last June. They live in Tiberias, Tveria, right now. So this is good news for them, but unfortunately, Gallego is still not with in a connection relationship with his family. I really hope that this situation will change. And about in the villa, all his 14 sister and brother are still there, but in one hand, there are people who joined the commune, but other left, like one of the women that was married to one of the brothers. She's not a character in the movie, but she came to live with them in the villa. She know them from the city, so she was very important part of the commune. But about 1.5 years ago, she left after, with her 3 daughters while she's pregnant, and she also not with the contact with right now. It's all very tough and dramatic story. I mean, the other end, I can tell that Yossi Tutu, the one who speak a little bit Hebrew in the movie also, he got married and he has 2 daughters, and Bibi, Deborah, who returned from United States after a year with Itzhak. They have now already 4 children. They're still there. And Anna with the blonde hair, with the
right, dreadlocks.
She also got married with a Brazilian guy that she met in some trip to the north of Brazil, some roots trip that they did. The young, so
they're thriving.
Came, left, and this is, also part of the heart of the movie, because the heart of the movie for me is that every one of us is paying a price for his choices, any choices, I think. Yeah. If you are getting married, like the father said, you are not free. Yeah. But if you are single, also, I can say that you also, it's not so easy, and you want to be married, maybe. So this is the heart of the I think the story. And Gallego, he made his dream to come here to Israel, but as I say, is not with a connection with them. And so in the beginning, when I started to shoot, it was kind of, not really, but kind of utopia. Everybody were together, kind of. And so it still exists. Villa Baralo still exists, and they are still there, but a lot of dramas happen and will happen in the future, I'm sure.
Thank you so much for speaking to the Philadelphia Jewish Film Festival and taking part in the festival. For those out there who love the film, please spread the word by telling everyone you know that Leaving Paradise is available to stream on demand from November 7th through the 14th.
So Facebook page for the movie Leaving Paradise, you can reach for that and click for like, and send me some messages if you want. I'm talking to the audience, and want to say really thank you very much to everybody who watched the movie. And for me, it's amazing that I'm here and you are there, and you are watching. The movies exist out there in the clouds, and everybody can watch. And thank you very much.